In it, the men's 400-meter with a strong field that includes the world record holder, Butch Reynolds. And that record set back in 1988, 43.29. The meet record, Michael Johnson's 43.66. Reynolds at age 33, still among the premier runners at this distance.
And Dwight, when we spoke with him yesterday, he's very confident. He hasn't been the same Butch Reynolds we've seen in the past, who would come out and very exuberantly put up fast times in the qualifying rounds, but he was a very confident Butch Reynolds. This is his time to go back to the world stage, is the way he sees it.
I think it's been proven now that Butch's is a very good world record, and if Michael Johnson doesn't get it soon, he may not get it at all.
Well, we've got in lane 3 Antonio Pettigrew, the 29-year-old, 91 world champion, 3-time U.S. champion. He's a contender here.
Pettigrew's another guy who thought about retirement, but the thing about him is when he's on, and he's really been looking good here. He is so great at his home stretch run, Dwight, and if he's ready for that today, he could come from behind to win it.
Plus, he's plenty disappointed from last year's Olympic trials. He expected to make the team. He was not in Atlanta.
Looking at the rest of the lanes, Chris Jones in 1, Jason Rouser. He's strong in lane 2. Jerome Young in 4. Milton Campbell, a 21-year-old from the University of North Carolina, 4th at the NCAAs last week. Tyree Washington, keep an eye on that young man, California junior college champion. And Derek Mills, 24-year-old former Georgia Tech star, in lane 8.
You know, Pettigrew is a big fan of golf as we take a look at Butch Reynolds. In fact, he said his #1 goal in sports is to beat Mark Everett, the guy we saw win the 800 in a golf match.
No endorsements, though, if he wins that.
Well, his best is 89, so no, I don't think he's going to get any big endorsements. Butch Reynolds, such a veteran of this field. He's done it all in track and field.
Start for Reynolds and Campbell. And running well in lane 7, Tyree Washington. Here comes Reynolds up to Washington. Outside is Derek Mills from lane 8 with the short stagger.
What an advantage for a lot of the field with Derek Mills out in lane 8, who likes to move early, but Butch Reynolds is not spending any time
Mills
around.
Hobbled. Mills pulled up with some kind of a pull, and Reynolds takes the lead. He was going by him anyway, but Mills pulled up.
Jerome Young running very well around this turn to come into the stretch, home stretch in the lead.
Jerome Young in lane 4. Now out of lane 3 comes Pettigrew. Pettigrew. It's going to be Pettigrew. Jerome Young faded. Tyree Washington got up. May have grabbed second.
And you see the two golfing buddies embracing. Mark Everett, the 800-meter champion, Antonio Pettigrew. What did we talk about? The home stretch run of the guy who, when he's on, finishes better than anyone. The 1991 U.S. and world champion has a chance to go back to the 97 world. This was one of the most bizarre races I have ever seen. Dwight was right. Out in the outside lane, Mills went out, then he pulls up. Jerome Young ran a screaming turn. The 20-year-old U.S. junior champion from 1995 had the lead into the home stretch. Then came Pettigrew, and look at this charge of all these guys, including Tyree Washington, the 97 California junior college champion, is all the way down in the bottom. He comes up to get second, and it looks to me that it's Young who holds on for third. The veteran Pettigrew in the lead for the U.S. team, but two youngsters behind him.
And the world record holder, Butch Reynolds, probably out of the money, maybe even off the relay team, finishing at least 5th, maybe 6th.
There's Derek Mills, who was going well in lane 8, but pulled up lame. Let's go to Michelle Tafoya.
All right, with Antonio Pettigrew, great race. Butch Reynolds got off in front early, but you came down the stretch. Describe it from your vantage point.
Well, I just got out slow. My first 150 was real slow. I didn't get out the blocks, and my last 150 I know I had to run, try to win the race.
When you go into Worlds, would you like to be competing against Michael Johnson at this point? Should he be allowed that wild card berth?
Doesn't make a difference. I'm going to have to run him regardless. I'm looking at when I go to Europe this summer, I know Mike's going to be there. So it doesn't make a difference. I'm going to have to run against him regardless.
All right, congratulations. Let's turn our attention quickly to Butch Reynolds, who did not qualify. Your thoughts on this race? You look like you got out in front, but the rest of the field caught up.
Well, you know, I guess my legs just wasn't with me today. But hopefully I've been on a relay, I can represent the U.S. that way. I'm looking forward to this season, though, especially next season.
You've been fairly vocal about Michael Johnson and whether or not he should have the wild card berth. Your thoughts?
You know, I think the wild card is a good idea, but this year's not a good year for it. If they're going to do a wild card, they should do it next year on the off season, where somebody's position doesn't depend on it right now.
All right, well, best of luck to you in the relays.
Thanks.
Let's go back up to Tim Ryan.
Butch Reynolds, who finished 6th. There's the winner, Antonio Pettigrew. Tyree Washington roaring up for 2nd. Jerome Young hanging on to get 3rd. We'll be back with the women's 400 in a moment.
44-65.